Hare Krishna. Thank you. So let us start with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimrandhasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swamin Namane Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Ishtane Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhete Girim Yatkipatam Mahamande Shri Gurum Dintaranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. So I will strongly encourage for today's session to keep your video on. Again, I will not force, but and the reason being that today's class is not a class. Today's session is going to be a bit more interactive and a bit more sharing oriented. So for whosoever it is possible, please, I strongly encourage that you turn your video on. So today's session is going to be slightly different. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for, I do not remember how long this has been. Anybody remembers when we started this series? 2020 sometime.
2021, Prabhu.
Did we start in 2021?
2020, Prabhu. Maybe April or June.
Because I remember we did the chapter-wise overview first, which we did around April, June. And after the chapter-wise overview, which we did over 18 days, after that, I do not remember whether we kept a gap or not. But I was thinking we started sometime in late, probably towards the middle of 2020. Anyway, I mean, the date is not so important. But what I wanted to insist is, it's been, a long journey, maybe 1.5 to 2 years. And I want to congratulate all of you for surviving for so long. Of course, some of you have been in this journey since the very beginning. Some of you joined midway because you got connected sometime midway. But nevertheless, it is a very rare good fortune to develop attraction for this subject matter. And anyone who takes interest in Krishna, you should know that Krishna takes very special interest in them. So Krishna's formula is very simple. Of course, Krishna loves everybody. Yeah, everybody. Oh yeah, God is equal to. Yes, God is equal to everybody. But even the person who's most equal to everybody, if somebody loves him very much, he will naturally reciprocate more intensely with that individual. That's a very, very natural phenomena of somebody who's very loving and affectionate. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshyosti na priya ye bhajante tumam bhaktya. But those, I am equal to all, but those who worship me with love, I am in them and they are in me. So I am in them and they are in me, you say for only that person who's very, very, very close to you. Correct? You don't just say to somebody and just say, oh, I am in you and you are in me. They'll think, what is this man has gone crazy. We will say like that only to somebody who's extremely close to us, isn't it? A husband may say to wife, or a lover may say to a beloved, or even the parents may say to the children that you are always in my heart, and the children may say my parents are always in my heart. So very, very close. So those who consider Krishna close, Krishna keeps them very close. And Krishna takes very special interest. And at our neophyte level of spiritual advancement, we may not be feeling ecstatic love and attachment for Krishna and crying out of love. That's a very high stage of spiritual advancement. But at our level of spiritual advancement, the way we can show our eagerness and interest in Krishna is through our eagerness to hear about him. This is a very, very important principle. So I cannot I cannot overstate this enough. And this is very natural. Those whom we are attached to, or those whom we are fascinated about, don't we always want to hear more and more and more about them? I'm talking about in a positive way. Of course, the reverse is also true. Those whom we really, really hate, also we talk about them. Even though there's no reason and they're not around. But here I'm talking about in a positive sense. Just bring the topic back again and again and again. So Krishna feels very, very... Krishna, who's sitting in the heart waiting for the living entity to turn his face towards him, the way Krishna interprets that the soul is turning towards him is when the soul with faith and eagerness wants to hear about him. So all of you have demonstrated that taste, that faith. And as stated in Krishna's words in the Bhagavad Gita itself, that means you have become dear to Krishna in the process. So I want to congratulate you. Bhagavad Gita is a process not just of acquiring knowledge. Bhagavad Gita is a process of unraveling our identity with Krishna and deepening our relationship with him. So this journey will be successful, will be considered successful if we have increased since whatever June 2020 or whenever around 2 years ago that we started, that as of now, if we have more faith in Krishna, if we have more taste for hearing about him, if we have increased our standards of spiritual sadhana over the last 2 years, and if we have developed stronger attachment to it. And if you're wondering what does stronger attachment mean, stronger attachment means we remember him more often. It's as simple as that. Because the more we are attached to somebody or something, the simple symptom is we remember them more often. It is not just momentarily crying and then forgetting about him until we next see him. That is not what we are talking. It's not like a movie crying. We go to a movie, we see some sad scene and we all cry. That doesn't mean we have fallen in love or we are really, loving the hero or the character. No, that's an emotional scene which may trigger an emotion, but you forget once you come out. But real attachment means our mind, our consciousness gets drawn again and again and again to that person. So these are means by which we can understand we are making positive spiritual progress. Smartavya satatam vishnum vismartavya na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedasyur etayoreva kinkara. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. All other rules and regulations of scripture are subservient to this principle. Which means again another way to measure our advancement. And this is not different from what I mentioned earlier. It's about how much we can remember Krishna. And you can remember Krishna only if you are attached to him. And you'll be attached to him when you are attracted to him. And you will be attracted to him when you actually understand his glories and you feel his love. First, you get attracted to his glory and then you feel his love. Feeling his love is an experience that will really, really make us attached. And as we progress in our own spiritual journeys, we will be able to feel and appreciate his love. Most of the time is coming through devotees, but sometimes the Lord, in his own special way, will demonstrate at a very personal level how much he cares for us, how much he loves us, how much he is always involved in our life, guiding us at every step. And as the devotee sees this and realizes this, he becomes so grateful, and his faith, surrender, dependence on Krishna continuously increases. Bhakti is nothing but the process of increased dependence on Krishna. Prabhupada would say, supreme independence for the jiva is complete dependence on Krishna. Full independence is complete dependence on Krishna. Currently, we are completely dependent on Maya. That's why we are not at all independent. We are fully dependent. Because we are trapped by the modes. But when we become fully dependent on Krishna, we actually become free from the modes of material nature. And we become re-established to our original position. So anyway, so I strongly encourage all of you to, there's no end to studying the Bhagavad Gita. So hopefully none of us think that now I know, because the moment we think I know, we don't know. And we don't want to stop our process of learning. So please continue in your own effort, and we will see in the not too distant future, we will see how to revive our study of the Bhagavad Gita, and we have discussed this already. We'll resume that very soon. So with that brief context setting, I wanted to take this opportunity to also thank all of you. And also give an opportunity on this floor today to all the devotees to either ask questions, if they have any, on anything to do with the Bhagavad Gita, theory, practice, philosophy, or I'll also strongly encourage any of you who may want to share their own experience in this journey of studying the Bhagavad Gita. How has it affected them? How it has helped them? How it has transformed them? Or how it has influenced them in any way. So it'll be wonderful to hear. So I'm going to stop here, and you can do either. You can either or both. You can share. But I will strongly encourage everybody to speak at least something. That something can be just one line also. That is okay. But I will strongly encourage. Again, I don't force, but I will strongly encourage. So that doesn't mean you have to imagine and create a question. Don't have to say that. Even if you just simply say, what was your experience in one line, that is also fine. But if you want to share for a couple of minutes, you are also welcome. So the floor is open. Who would like to go first? I will request you to raise your hand if you're already ready, either with a question, sharing, or comment, so that I can ask you in rather than everybody. Yes, Suresh. Suresh Prabhu is always very eager to share. Thank you, Prabhu. He's the saving grace.
No, not like that, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu, I just want to share my experience. So, before I came to the classes, I was a devotee of God, but not to much an extent. And when I joined the class, at that time I was too much stressed. I had my own personal issues, and I was so much into it, I was not able to come out of it. Literally, an endless loop I was getting into. Then one of my colleagues told about your class. And I still remember when I came, I asked first question to you. Maybe I was a bit rude or something, I felt. Uh, why are we doing mistakes when God is there? And why is he not stopping us? This was my first question. And you said that once you start attending classes, you'll get the answers. And a couple of months later, I got the answer. So how the Jivatma and Paramatma, God is in our heart. He knows each and everything. Then about free will, all those stuff. Then, yeah, later what happened slowly, I used to come quite often. Even I used to travel on weekends, Malaysia. And I used to somehow, the moment I used to, the class time used to come, right? Somehow I used to come to the class. I used to stay like bit far in Malaysia. Initially I was in KL, then I used to know. And later I felt, then the moment Saturday comes, my first thing will be to come to class. And I used to often come. And slowly I started to get out of my own personal problems. And I slowly started getting into the concept. And I started, down the line, I started connecting all the dots. I could see how God has come into our lives. Because I never thought I'll get an on-site, and on-site will give me this opportunity about Bhagavad Gita. That was a very plus point what I see in life. And I used to attend classes. I was a bit convinced. I used to tell every day to my wife, I'm learning all those things. And I started, initially, like she used to listen, then we started having conflicts, all those things. And I still remember I used to tell Prabhuji, I'm having tough time convincing my wife. Then what you said is, don't worry, Krishna is there, he'll take care of that. Then later, now it's such a thing that she's a big devotee now. Things slowly
better
started
than
changing.
you.
Yes. Yeah, that is what I want to tell you. And other things, what I felt, I had a tough time leaving non-veg. And I used to tell Prabhuji that, Prabhuji, when I eat non-veg, I'm not able to touch Bhagavad Gita. Then you suggested it's okay, you go through it. But still, I was hesitant. Then one day, you're a bit, you literally sort of scolded me. Don't worry, you just do what I say. Then I started, even I used to have non-veg, I used to take Bhagavad Gita and start reading. Now it is such a thing that I quit non-veg, and I used to like drink, not occasionally, that also quit. I left non-veg. Now it is very easy for me to go through things, all those things. And fortunately, I have touched 16 rounds probably. Yeah, it is qualitatively is not that up to that mark. Yeah. The one thing what I feel is I'm a bit lazy, Prabhuji. I said always. So that part slowly it has to come out. But otherwise, it is perfectly going good, Prabhuji. At least we can easily see the downfalls, how God lifted us. We were into so much of crisis. How he lifted us, we can see that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
When we start thinking about Krishna, Krishna starts thinking overtime about us. So that is the wonderful thing. So Krishna never lets those who are remembering him, go down. That's his very special mercy. Of course, it is very wonderful. The whole family, in your case, is enthusiastically participating. So that's a very, very special blessing. You must greatly thank Krishna for that. And the key thing is, if we present Krishna consciousness, if we accommodate others and give them space and time, over time, to Krishna consciousness, sometimes we try to, force and push others to run at our pace in Krishna consciousness. You have to give everybody the space and gently encourage and provide all facility. And we will see, when we do that gently, many, many souls will actually get inspired and come up in Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much for your example. And I'm happy to note that a lot of positive changes, and that's the power. By the Lord's mercy, gradually all our questions get answered and everything. Nashto moho smritir labdhva. Thank you, Suresh Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. And also Shalini Mataji, Mihira, thanks to all of you. Bhaskar Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Bhaskar Prabhu is another amazing devotee. He's very, very steady. He's also, you're also chanting 16, you said 18 actually, you told me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Prabhu. 18. 16
Bhaskar is
morning
chanting
and
2 in the evening. Yes. So many devotees are chanting 16 rounds now. Of course, Sarvalakshmi Mata is already initiated. There are a few already initiated devotees, but quite a few are chanting 16 rounds, which is very, very nice. And without my telling.
Yes, Prabhu.
Which is wonderful. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Yeah, Prabhu, I just wanted to share my experiences before I was joining into Bhagavad Gita. So before actually joining into Bhagavad Gita, I was actually doing my yoga practices. I joined an Isha Yoga Center. So I learned the 3 kind of practices. So I used to do every day. And so I did 90 days, 1 mandala. So I used to do it. So whenever I was doing, I felt like exuberant and feeling happy. Then after some time, that exuberance is gone. So again, I'm coming into material life. Again, the problems are coming up, and Suraj was my colleague actually. So we were working at the same company. So I was looking for some I'm feeling some dissatisfaction in my inside actually. So though I'm doing, I'm not able to because see, whenever I'm doing, I'm feeling happier than getting into material life. Again, I'm facing a challenges. I don't know how to handle that situation. So I got some sort of fear in me that to face the challenges. So I was thinking this was actually ongoing thinking in my mind, and suddenly I met Suraj in office. Then he was telling that there's a Bhagavad Gita classes going on. I had the Bhagavad Gita before that. I just thought it's kind of a philosophy and I don't think I can get it much. Then I just attended 1 day class, Prabhuji. So then I felt from that day onwards until now, I think hardly I can miss 10 classes. I think from 2018 onwards.
Wow.
So I think, yeah. So yeah, that's made me interested more about to learn about Krishna, and that is also giving me my questions are answered. I mean, by attending your classes, and then so there are key points actually. So before Bhagavad Gita, I used to talk to my parents all activities like mundane stories and everything. So now I whenever I talk to my parents, I say first Hare Krishna. So they also started saying to me back saying that Hare Krishna. So there is a slight change from my parents' side as well. So that is one thing I can say that. And before that, I used to eat onion and garlic a lot. Without onion and garlic, my day wouldn't be having ended actually. So now it's completely, I think from last 2 years, I think from 2020 onwards. So we completely shifted from there is no onion garlic, because I understood that without offering to Krishna, if we eat, we are actually thieves, right? So that's, I think, one of the class where you mentioned this point where that actually penetrated me into my heart. Like, it's correct. Without offering Krishna, if you're eating like we are thief, like see, if you're going to get something with asking that person, then that should be in materialistic way also, that you're asking without taking. You're taking me without asking. So that's kind of a thief. So I felt that point, and from that day onwards, I think I completely stopped it. So my wife also supporting me in that actually. So from that onwards, every day, morning and evening, whatever we cook, we just offer to Krishna and then take it. And yeah, before that, intoxication and the meat eating was more prominent for me, Prabhuji. So now I think I didn't even feel to have it and eat actually. Even I'm trying to inform to my parents also. They are now stopped. I mean, the taking quantity reduced. I mean, if now they are taking monthly once. So previously every week, like sort of thing. So now slowly. So now every time we are talking about Krishna only to my parents. So whatever the inspiration I got it from your classes, so I'm just sharing them so that sort of a revision sort of for me, so that I can keep thinking about it. So that's from my personal aspect. And from the Bhagavad Gita, there are key points I learned, Prabhuji. But that is I'm not this body, I'm a spiritual soul. Part and parcel of the Krishna. So our constitutional position is to do a loving services to the Krishna. So this point actually, it took to understand like 2 years. I think now I'm clear about this point. Previously, I was just thinking, what is this? What is? But I think as I was continuously attending your classes, so maybe Krishna gave me blessing to understand that point very clearly. So now I'm clear. That is one thing, so yeah, we should serve Krishna at any way, at any possible way. And there are 4 key slokas in Prabhuji in my daily prayers. That is one is Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutana Punyatmamam Shanti Murchate. That is one thing. And second thing is Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, because this Patram Pushpam is actually, if you have so much of rich person also, you don't need to present to Krishna all your richness. You don't need to show them. Show to Krishna. He's asking only Patram, Pushpam, Palam. That's it. Toyam, water. These 4 things everyone has. Even a person has these 4 things. So later I understood that. See how Krishna is flexible. Sort of thing. I just felt it proper. So and 18.65 Manmana Bhava Matmakto and Sarva Dharman Parityacha Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papesh Sarva Pute. Yeah, that 4 actually in my daily prayers, morning and evening, whenever I do. So yeah, that's it, Prabhu. So I also learned this devotional service in 4 ways actually. In terms of devotional service in the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and those things also. I think myself that I'm completely in the mode of ignorance, sometimes in the mode of passion only. I'm not yet come to the mode of goodness and transcendental bhakti. So I'm just keep on observing myself, how am I doing to prayers to Krishna, whether I'm in ignorance or sort of things.
Hare Krishna. Amazing. Thank you, Bhaskar Prabhu, for being very exemplary. And I'm very happy to see how you have transformed yourself.
Yeah, one thing I want to see this attachment word. I really understood last 3 months only, probably because the fundamental idea about Bhagavad Gita is to attach to Krishna and detachment to material, right? So since we are in material, so our mind is full of material things and all those things. So I just recently attended an interview. So I felt that I should get it. Then the result were reversed. So I felt like, why Krishna did it to me like this. So 3 months I waited for that come to back. So 3 months I learned this attachment. Krishna is telling us that attachment is the key point. Attached to Krishna, detached to material. That is the key point. So still I'm continuing attaching to the material. And so that's where I felt, okay, we have to flip it back to think. That's what I just learned about this last 3 months very, very clearly, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hari Jai Ho. And we pray that you continue to do wonderful seva.
Thank you.
And enlighten other souls also. Thank you so much, Bhaskar Prabhu. Gangotri Mataji, would you like to
Hare
share?
Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hari
Bo. Prabhu, thank you for being a source of encouragement and enlightening us. It's really been wonderful. The classes that I've joined have really motivated me so much more and given me deepened knowledge. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, sometimes I do wonder that, the verses in the Bhagavad Gita are so deep. And why is it that some people, despite listening to all this and knowing this, still find it so difficult to understand? And I'm sure that as all of us, as your students who have gone through and who have heard Bhagavad Gita, if we can help to spread this information to more and more people, that will be really so wonderful. And especially for me, especially like for us Indians, basically, we come from, we being Indians, there's so much of a difference within the understanding. But this one phrase in Bhagavad Gita, 7.7, Mata Paratram Nanyat Kinsit Astit Dhananjaya Mai Sarvam Idam Protam Sutre Mani Gani Iva. This one really touches me most because, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. It really like the deep meaning of this verse, that this was spoken like 5,000 years ago. And the way it's described is really so incredible. It really touches me. And here itself in this one verse, it's so clearly stated that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is a personal person, absolute truth, and cause of all causes. So yes, what else is there more to be said? So I just hope that everyone is able to pass more message to more of the people out there who are suffering and get them to enlightenment. Thank you, Prabhu, for enlightening us as well. Thank
Hare
you, Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. I would like to invite Veena Mataji's hand up. Santanam Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Santanam Prabhu is amongst the senior most students. He, Veena-ji, I think also Sarva Lakshmi Mataji and a few others have been there since many, many years. Since which year, Prabhu, we first connected?
2013, Prabhuji.
2013. Wow, almost over 9 years now. So what would you like to share?
March 2013.
Acha, March, yes.
I just want to say a few things only because I just leave the opportunity for the other people. First thing, how to express love, learn to love. That is from chapter 9. I don't know the exact verse name, but while I'm learning the class, Prabhuji was explaining the devotee used to express his love by bowing down in front of the God and do the sevas. So further explanation is given like we need to express love. Love means we need to do some sacrifice. It is not like a simple word, love, but we need to express it. Love means sacrifice, that I understood, and that has given a chance to build a good relationship with wife, children, parents, subordinates, relatives, with everyone. That is the greatest lesson what I learned from Bhagavad Gita. And because of Bhagavad Gita, I got opportunity to associate with you, Prabhuji, and I get a chance to know about other so many lectures I am attending with Radhanath Swami Maharaj, classes I am attending. These things with Bhagavad Gita class. And now we have hundreds of devotees association in Chennai, and we are like new to Chennai, but we have a lot of friends in Chennai, and they are helping us to have a good life, family life. So in the essence, my personal life is myself and my family personal life is going very nicely because of this Bhagavad Gita and the classes, whatever the lectures, whatever you have given, and the Maharaj classes and the devotees association, all these things are happening because of this Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Santanam Prabhu and Mataji both have been chanting 16 rounds also for quite some time now, Prabhu, correct?
For the past 2 years, Prabhuji.
2 years, yes. And Prabhu is working towards initiation through the Chennai temple. So he's progressing towards taking shelter and initiation. So wonderful, Prabhu. So we are so happy. You are making wonderful progress. in that direction. So we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yes, Pratima ji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hello.
Namaste, Hare Krishna.
First of all, thank you for everything. Thank you for taking me in your class. And, yeah, you know all my pain and suffering already. So no need to tell. First thing, I started Ekadashi fasting because of this class. And since 5 years, I started Ekadashi fasting. And I didn't miss a single fasting until now. That's
Haribo.
the best part of my life. And I learned one more thing. Don't keep any grudges. Forgive the people what they are doing with you. Just have patience and wait for your turn. That's what I learned, especially in this 1 year, the pain I had got. I lost my dad, you know everything. So because of spiritual knowledge and classes and Mataji's help, I learned to be calm and wait for justice. He will do everything perfect. That's what I learned from this Gita class. And so thankful to you for taking me in your shelter.
Hare
That's
Krishna.
it.
Yes, we are all in Krishna's
Hare
shelter.
Krishna.
Krishna is the best master, and that's the amazing thing. Yeah, but it's not easy to always have faith in Krishna, because Krishna's way of taking care of his devotees may not be the way we may want or expect. And that is the real test for all the devotees. Of course, different devotees have different kinds of challenges in their life. But the devotee always, of course, this doesn't mean that we do not fight or work against injustice. Depending on Krishna doesn't mean that anybody can treat us in any way. But as we do our best to counteract whatever difficulties come in our life, simultaneously we take very deep shelter of Krishna, and we accept that finally whatever will happen in our life is in his control. And the way Krishna controls is to help us to come closer to him. So sometimes challenges help us come closer to him. Sometimes good times help us to come closer to him. So we have to trust his wisdom, that he's our most dear, well-wishing friend. So thank you, and we wish the best. Thank you. Anyone else? I don't see hands up, but anyone can come in.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, 1 minute.
Sridhar.
Sridhar ji, is it?
Yeah.
Wait, let me
Hare Krishna,
find you.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, you can start speaking. I'm just trying to find you so I can pin you. Yes.
Yeah, actually, first of all, we are all blessed. God has given you as our guru, as a best gift for us.
As your servant.
That is what. Actually, I was in my first class itself, I was attracted to you and Krishna. My children used to attend the classes in the Pines for children classes. So I just pick and drop, and I used to stay outside for 1 hour, something like that, or sometimes just pick and drop. So one day, you had invited all the parents as well. So in the first class, I was amazed, seeing, oh, the guru has given a lot of information, and a lot of information we have been missing so many years. Then after that, pandemic started, and you started virtual classes. Then because my children, so I started sitting with them and listening. So every class, it has become more interested than my children. So actually, in 2015 or 6-7 years back, I started reading myself Bhagavad Gita. I started in Telugu version. So weekly 1 or 2 verses like that. So it took almost to complete half of the book around 3 to 4 years. And when I started your classes attending regularly, just within 3 months, the half of the book I have completed, the Bhagavad Gita. Then it was really, I can say it's a God's gift only. Suddenly on one day you say, it was I don't remember the special day. So you asked me someone here wants to gift Bhagavatam set. So are you interested? Then immediately I accepted. Then I said I don't even know the number of books as well. I thought of only one book for Bhagavatam. Then you said, okay, it's a book of a set of 16 books. then I surprised. So it took me around like 3 to 4 years for completing this Bhagavad Gita, and how can I complete? But immediately, I don't know like what happened. I regularly like kept as 1 hour or something more than depends upon like availability. So recently I completed Bhagavatam also, third canto, second part of those.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
So that really made it amazing. Actually, in my life, other than academic and professional books, I didn't read any other books as well. So this is really a big change, and also it's wonderful. Like by God's grace, all this happened. Uh,
Actually, Sridhar Prabhu and family are also very, very exemplary. Actually, I'm so blessed that so many families who are coming and connected here are practicing so wonderfully. There are daughters, ask them to come closer. I can't see them. Hari Bol. There is Amsini, Hari Bol, Shiva Varshini and Amsini. Both are such wonderful devotees. They've been attending classes since they were half the size that they are now. So this is amazing, actually. This is very, very inspiring. And the whole point that this proves that actually it is so much possible for families to practice Krishna consciousness together and become happy with a life centered around Krishna. Do you agree, Sridhar
yeah,
Prabhu?
yeah, sure, bro. It really happened in my life also. Yeah, and
And it
actually,
helped. Yeah,
yeah.
please.
Sorry. Actually, I started like fasting also, like Ekadashi fastings this year, and during the time I started like 16 rounds, and at that time, 8 rounds per day. So that also it really helped me a lot, and it has become like a high priority, as you said. Like actually, it's not but it's also happening. So every time when I talk, go, or even when I have free time, even if I go out, also just chanting like this. That's what actually I asked you also. By wearing footwear also can we do? You said okay. So then while going walking also just chanting and also discussing more and more topics. When my children didn't like they have some other classes, so if they miss the class also, whatever I like get some information, or also the whatever you said, I attending this class, and I even other class also I attend. So all this I am sharing with them also. By reading the Bhagavatam books also, some interesting points I am also sharing with them or discussing. So all really amazing things happened by the Lord's grace and by your grace. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I'm so
Great.
happy to be an instrument of the Lord's compassion. So, yeah, actually, it's very, very, it is my great joy to see all of you becoming happy in Krishna consciousness, because that's the whole purpose. Spiritual life is meant to make us happy. It's not meant to make us, miserable and sad. And actually, as a family, if we practice the simple principles of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada would say so simply, just chant together, dance together, sing together, offer naivedya to the Lord and eat the prasad together, and mix with devotees and do the same activities. It's as simple as that. And by doing that, not only we all advance spiritually, but actually, even from a family perspective, our bonding with the family, our relationships, the kind of happiness, the environment at home also improve significantly. I don't know whether how many of you have noticed that. Sometimes some individuals, they don't notice because they are in that journey, but when I see from on outside, I can immediately see that it is making so much change and so much transformation just in the way the family is connecting and bonding with each other. So that is a very, very important. And that's what we want. We want devotees to be both materially and spiritually happy. We are not saying that become materially miserable and spiritually happy. No. Krishna doesn't want that. Krishna just doesn't want that we become distracted by material enjoyment and forget him. Then we will only suffer. But Krishna doesn't want us to be, struggling in a material way. Of course, sometimes Krishna may give us struggles to help us realize more deeper the realities of the predicament of the material world. But otherwise, the formula that Krishna has given is to make us happy both materially and spiritually. So thank you. I'm very happy. So now you are chanting 16 or 8? How many rounds?
Minimum 8 rounds per day.
Minimum
On
8 rounds.
Ekadashi is 16 rounds compulsory.
Ekadashi is 16. By the way, this Saturday, everyone is Ekadashi.
Yeah.
It's also a special Ekadashi. It's Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi. So those who want to do waterless fasting, this is the best day. So it is said, if you observe this one Ekadashi, you get the fruit without drinking water, then you get the benefit of all the Ekadashis of the year. Of course, if you cannot, you can just follow normal Ekadashi. But if you can, I mean, this was for everyone, not for you specifically, Sridharji, but for everyone. Yeah. So thank you. And I'm so proud of Shivavarshini and Hamsini also. Hari Hari. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Shivavarshini also.
Krishna, Prabhuji. I want to share a few words.
Wonderful, please. Can you come a little more closer? I don't know why your face is looking hazy and okay, fine. I think it's probably the lighting. Yeah, go ahead.
When I first started listening to Bhagavad Gita classes, like I read the Bhagavad Gita, eventually I started chanting, then fasting for Ekadashis, like no grains, only fruits. Then I started attending other classes, enrolling other Bhagavad Gita courses. But then I got into my studies and I got distracted from my spiritual progress. So now I'm working on it, but I'm saying that reading Bhagavad Gita has changed something fundamentally on me. Like before making some decisions or something, I remember some advices and some things from Bhagavad Gita. Like one of the most important lesson I learned is attachment and about the influence. Influence really is a big part of the journey. Like in the 15 years I have lived, even though it's a little, the experience is a really big part of my life. Like I had bad influences and good influences. Like I think materialistically, like in my school and all, but then I attend classes and the switch flips up. So I learned that and other few things that helped me through. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's me to blame because I got distracted and all, but I'm working through it.
Hare Krishna. I'm so happy. And the thing is, yes, there'll always be ups and downs. The important thing for all of us is if we keep association of devotees, and we keep attending and hearing regularly Harikatha, even if for some reason we are temporarily distracted, and that happens with all of us, whether it's because of studies, whether it's because of some challenges in life, whether it's because of difficulties, irrespective of the age, we will remain anchored and we will not go away. I'm not telling you, I'm just telling everybody. Yeah. So I just want to tell you that I'm very proud of both of you. You have been attending. How old were you when you first started attending my class?
I think I was 12 or something, 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years now, right? Yeah. So actually, many of the children who are also attending this have been attending for so many years, and many of them have been like 8, 10, 12, of that age when they attended. So thank you and all the best for to all of you.
Yeah, at the age of 12, she completed Bhagavad Gita once.
Wow.
Reading, completing
Great.
reading.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing. Anyone else would like to share? I want to hear from everybody something. You don't have to say necessarily a lot, even 1 or 2 sentences is fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. 1 minute. Let me find. Oh, Hamsini, you want to speak? Yes, go ahead.
First of all, thanks Prabhuji for the experience,
Hare
and
Krishna.
also like after these classes, also listen to Bhagavatam tales, like for my age and more, and also I do like fasting, and I do puja sometimes, and also maybe like rarely I chant.
Doesn't matter. You're doing a lot. You have transformed from where you were, and you are how many years old now? 12. So she has been joining classes since she was around 8 and 12, following Ekadashi, regularly hearing Gita, Bhagavatam, following Ekadashi. Wonderful, amazing. That's great progress.
Thank
That
you,
is great
Prabhuji.
progress. Wonderful. So keep it up, and I'm sure you all will grow up to become very, very wonderful devotees. Thank you, Hamsini.
Thank you,
My
Prabhuji.
best wishes. Hare Krishna. Anyone? You can share experiences, you can ask questions, you can talk about your transformation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Bhaskar here.
Yes, yes, Bhaskar bro.
Prabhuji, what is the triggering point for us to get an initiation, Prabhuji? So I'm just thinking, I don't know. I mean, what is there any like triggering point for me to like take an initiation or what? Yes, I just want
The triggering point. The triggering point means once we are able to be steady in following the principles of Krishna consciousness and chanting 16 rounds, and we feel that we want to seriously commit ourselves to developing pure love. We want to make attainment of Krishna Prem as the goal of our life, main goal of our life, because all other goals are supporting goals, main goal of our life. Then, as explained by the Acharyas, Adav Guru Padashraya. The first step for serious advancement is to take shelter of the feet of the spiritual master and then gradually work towards taking initiation. So the trigger is actually our commitment. When we feel we are ready to make that commitment, yes, I want to seriously commit, then we should talk to our spiritual teachers, our temple authorities, to see how we can move ahead from there. So, so that's basically. So anybody who wants to make spiritual advancement seriously must work towards taking initiation, because that is where one gets officially connected to Krishna. Of course, we all are connected, but just like one may go on dating somebody for so many years, but until one gets married, the relationship is not formalized. So similarly, we may be generally connected with Krishna, but until we take vows and we surrender to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, we are not committing to a relationship. So that is the point. Of course, we make progress without initiation also, but progress without that is taking us to the point of that commitment. So that is a serious commitment, because that commitment is a lifelong commitment. It is not a commitment of experimentation. It is a commitment for life. Just like marriage is supposed to be, of course, nowadays people don't even take that seriously, but just like marriage is supposed to be a commitment for life, and dating may be an experimentation. So serious commitment to Krishna. So when we feel that we are wanting to commit ourselves to Krishna, then we should move towards it. So if we are in doubt whether we are ourselves ready or not, then we should speak to our spiritual teachers or temple authorities to see whether we are ready on. Because sometimes what happens, sometimes we may not be ready, but we think we are ready. Sometimes we may be ready, but we think we are not ready. So we should not trust our own mind in this regard. So if in doubt, privately, we should consult with our spiritual teachers or authorities and ask them for their guidance. What is their opinion? But of course, the initial desire has to come from the devotee himself. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. But how do we identify that guru? I mean, how do I know that this is my going to be guru or some sort of? Because I am.
So yeah, so the simple answer is whoever inspires us most in Krishna consciousness, to whom we feel that we can, whom we see as the greatest inspiration in our life spiritually, we should take. I'm talking about from the initiating spiritual masters. We should take initiation from them. Of course, there are so many qualified spiritual masters. For example, within ISKCON, there are so many qualified spiritual masters, and All are wonderful and qualified, but we may feel a special affinity towards a particular spiritual master, either because of his mood, the way he relates to us, or the way he preaches, the way he is engaged in service. Sometimes different devotees get attracted to different personalities, and in that association, in that example of that particular spiritual master is most inspiring us to also follow in his footsteps and serve Krishna. So that is the guiding principle. Because Guru is not about a stamp or a label. And that is why I always follow the policy that I do not tell anybody, even my own students, I do not tell anybody that you should take initiation from so and so. You can ask any of my students. I've never told them that you should take initiation from XYZ. I don't even recommend my own spiritual master. That is the individual student's choice, whom they want to take initiation from. So that's how. So if we do not have that exposure, we should slowly work towards getting that exposure of who are the various spiritual masters, and then familiarize ourselves with their classes, their teachings, and their services, and in that way explore. Yeah. So of course, if we are situated in a particular place, in a particular locality, then typically there are some gurus who visit there, and they should be our first. They should be, from a pragmatic perspective, practical perspective, our first preference, for the simple reason that they will come there more often than we will be able to have a relationship with them at a more physical level, right? Of course, it's not a restriction or a limitation, but that's just a pragmatic approach. So we may want to, consider that as one of the parameters, not a limiting parameter, but one of the parameters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So around this, if you want to have any detailed conversation, you can always have offline, and then we
Yes,
can
Prabhu.
discuss.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I'm going to come to Suraj, but before that, anybody else? We have another 5-10 minutes before we wrap up. Anybody wants to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'm
Yes,
Sachiprema.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Please accept our humble obeisances and respects, pranam and advance at your lotus feet.
My feet are cactus feet.
Thank you so much for accepting my sister Andasundri and myself. You are a great motivation and inspiration to both of us to help us in developing a very showing your classes were giving us a very more intimate relationship with Krishna, which we never had before. And I think my sister Andasundri was very taken up by your lectures, so that most of the time, like even when she's cooking, even sleeping, at one time she used to like more than 15 hours she will be listening to your lectures, so that she will understand your lectures even after the classes. So I just wanted to thank you so much, because you are an excellent Siksha Guru. And last time I was a bit, last time, I mean, when you were in our temple, because you were so good, I was really a bit hesitant I thought I would never be able to understand your classes, but this time I felt that, I was getting closer and developing a more personal and intimate approach to Krishna. Thank you so much for helping us through our Krishna consciousness. Please bless us so that we can further advance in our Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for everything. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So my humble obeisances, Sachiprema Mataji, Anand Sundari Mataji. They are both long-term devotees. They have been connected to Jagannath Mandir for a long, long time. Both are disciples and initiated in ISKCON. So, I mean, for me, it is, I'm so happy when devotees are encouraging me by coming and listening and appreciating. So I take it as an encouragement. I do not think that they have to particularly come and listen to me, but they are so kind, as Sachipurama Mataji said. Somehow they are feeling inspiration. So I'm very happy that I'm able to serve them in this way. So I request both of you to reciprocate by showering your blessings on me, so that I can also become attached to Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. This is to both you and Anand Sundari Mataji. I'm so happy, and thank you for your encouragement.
No, Prabhu, we are still Sudras, so please, we need Prabhu and Mataji's blessings. Please give us the blessings, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, we are in this journey together. We are all helping each other to remain
Thank you.
strongly in Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else before I go to Suraj? I heard some sound of breathing. Maybe was it accidental? Okay, fine. Okay, Suraj, you can come on board. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Meera, you want to speak something? Wonderful.
Prabhuji, I would like to share my experiences about
Wonderful.
you.
Yes.
First of all, thank you very much for everything. From past 5 years, from when I was 8, I started attending the classes in Malaysia. My father used to take me. And then at first I used to not understand anything, but I was very into stories and all. So by time I started getting very interested in your classes, I started going more and more whenever I visited Malaysia. And then during this pandemic, before when we shifted back to India, I couldn't attend classes for a few years. And due to the pandemic, when you started online classes again, I started attending, and it gave me motivation to start reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and chant rounds. I currently I'm doing 8 rounds per day.
Wow.
It's my second time reading Bhagavad Gita, and because of your Bhagavatam classes, it helps me understand Bhagavatam way more, and it makes me really interested in spiritual line. Thank you so much.
It's so amazing. Very nice. Meera is a wonderful devotee. Thank you, Meera. You're all so many children, so wonderful. It's actually so inspiring and encouraging. And this is the power that if we expose our children since early age to Krishna consciousness, as you can see, some of them came at a time where they couldn't even understand anything, but just by being in that environment over time, how the potency of the message of the Gita, the potency of the Sangha of the devotees eventually brings about such wonderful transformation. So, Meera, my best wishes to you. Thank you for being a wonderful example and always showing up for the classes enthusiastically. And you have wonderful parents, and so you have the perfect setup. You have the perfect facility to make your life perfect, both materially and spiritually. So just keep your focus both on your studies as well as your spiritual development, and you'll have a very wonderful life.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I speak?
This is the senior most devotee.
No, I'm still the fallen one. I'm
You
actually
are fallen at the feet of Krishna. That is the thing.
Prabhuji, I'm so extremely grateful to you and Mataji for guiding me throughout this Krishna consciousness from beginning of 2013 till date today. When before I came into Krishna consciousness, there was once I told Krishna that when I went to the temple, I told him I won't pray to you, but I'll pray to the other gods in the temple.
Why you said that?
Because I was scared of him at that time. And now he is the main person in my life. And from a fallen Sudra, I become a servant of Krishna, a servant of all of you all. So thank you very much.
Krishna likes to take challenges. If you challenge him like that, if you tell Krishna, I will not give my heart to you, Krishna will snatch it. So Krishna is like that. Yes. Because sometimes even I was saying that to Krishna, actually it is actually a form of love. Sometimes devotees will also speak sometimes like this to Krishna, not because they hate or want to criticize Krishna, but they want more attention from him. So Krishna sees the intention of our prayers. Of course, if we do like that out of hatred or envy, that's a different thing. But those who do with a clean intention, Krishna always responds with a sincere heart. So I would also like to thank you, Sir Lakshmi Mataji. She has done so much. She is also initiated recently. And she has been doing so much service and helping in so many ways. So
All glories to you, Prabhuji.
no, I am just,
It was through you that I came into.
yes. So yeah, as much as the pipe will get the credit for giving the water. So I'm just pipe. The water is coming from somewhere and going to somewhere. So I'm happy to be the pipe. And Krishna is so kind that he gives that credit to the pipe, even though he's the reservoir and he's the proprietor of all grace. So this is the wonderful thing. If we become, the thing is, if we all sincerely desire to become an instrument of his grace, then Krishna will use us in that way. I always try to remind myself, I always try to pray to Krishna that you send those people whom you want to give your grace to. Let me just be a instrument, because I never think of myself as a person capable of transforming anybody. But I want to be part of this beautiful pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where thousands and thousands will become devotees of Krishna. So we just play our role and see how we can be there. Sometimes, like, somebody is distributing free food. We are neither the sponsors nor the cooks, but we just show up there and we just distribute the boxes. And somebody says, thank you, Prabhu, for giving me this box, but actually the box is not mine. Or is the food mine? But yes, happy to be part of the overall thing. So thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful example. She's also an example of a person who has made a huge transformation in her life, and I've seen her how she has become. I have seen how her face expression has changed over last 9 years. So Lakshmi Mataji, 9 years ago, I remember, and now it is so different. That is a proof that how Krishna consciousness actually makes us truly happy and blissful. Hari Hari. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Nehaji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your valuable guidance in every session. I have just recently joined Tantric in 2020. During pandemic, I was in a depression. And when I went to doctor, he said, you are completely all right. You have to just divert your mind. So you do meditation or you do yoga, you divert your mind. Then Shraddha ji, she showed me this path, and very much thankful to Shraddha ji also. She showed me nice path. Very much happy. And I'm just a beginner. I have to learn a lot, Prabhuji. So now I'm a listener. So keep me under your blessing, and I have full faith in Prabhuji. Since last 4 months,
Sorry, saying since last 4 months.
my husband is not well,
Oh, I see.
but he's okay now.
Okay.
I've left everything in Prabhuji. Many sessions I've attended from hospital, but he's improving. Lot of improvement is there, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we pray for him as well. In all situations, Gita teaches us we should sincerely take shelter of Krishna, and Krishna will do what is best for us. So encourage him also in whatever way possible to connect to Krishna, to Krishna's grace. And we have seen individuals who have been in very difficult situations. Such situations like where we felt that the individual may not be able to come out of a particular situation. But you see sometimes when somehow they become fortunate to develop faith in Krishna and take shelter of him, develop some appreciation. Sometimes miraculously Krishna changes their situation. So pray and make whatever attempts you can. And thank you so much for regularly attending the classes, and you're definitely growing as a devotee. So that is wonderful. Because like I said, for those who continue to hear, definitely the process of spiritual growth is happening. So we'll also pray for both of you, Snehaji, and I will also definitely pray that the Lord extends his blessings, mercy, protection to your family. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shraddhaji, Hare Krishna. You are leaving. You have already left Malaysia, isn't it? Last week. Yes. That's why you're looking different. You're in India right now, or US? India.
India, Navi Mumbai.
Navi Mumbai. Hare Krishna. Yes. Would you want to share something?
I just can tell just thank you, Prabhuji. That's all.
That is fine. Good. So even though you may not say much, I can see because I remember all of your faces when you first came, and now, how your faces are showing a shine of devotion for Krishna. So actually, it is not very difficult to understand. So that is why for those who are trained and who have a little bit experience, they can just by one glance quickly assess how Krishna conscious a person is. Now, of course, I don't claim to be in that category, but at least I have some sense of feeling, because the joy of Krishna consciousness very clearly shows. So I can see that you are developing a lot of faith, and you are also practicing. I understand you are also chanting regularly now. Yes, Hare Krishna. So wonderful. I'm very happy. Thank you so much. And I pray that you continue your wonderful journey in Krishna consciousness wherever you are. Thank you very much. How is your daughter? She's well? Okay, thank you. Okay, any other quick last comments? It's almost 10:30.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Auntie, Hare Krishna.
Very much for everything.
How are you? तुम्ही म्यूट वर आहात आंटी.
Thank you very much for everything.
Hare Krishna, thank you so
Hare
much. You
Krishna,
should give
Hare
your blessings. By the way, for those who do not know, she is Amit Shetty's mother. Amit is one of my closest friends. We studied in school together, practically from KG to 10th standard. Stays very close, and Shetty Kaki is like my mother. So I've spent so much time in their home. So, you know, so it is a bit embarrassing to have them in the class, but you know, I'm just taking it as their blessing, and I'm requesting their blessing. Thank you so much for your encouragement.
Thank you, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much again. This brings us to formally the conclusion of this series. Of course, as I said earlier, Bhagavad Gita never comes to an end. So our conversation will continue. So what we are doing from the next week is we are starting the series on Chaitanya Charitamrita. I have posted messages on that already in the group. I hope all of you are in the Amrit Pravaha group, the new group we have created. If not, message me and I will add you there. I think most of the regular students, I have moved there already. So please join, and we will do a lot of pastimes discussion. Of course, the first couple of classes may be more of setting the context and the background, but there'll be a lot of beautiful pastimes which you'll all enjoy. So remain connected, and I will see you all soon. Of course, for this week, we will meet again on Saturday, and then we will continue the Wednesday with Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Samaveta Gaura Bhakti ki
Jai.
Hari Bo. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you,
Prabhuji.
everyone. Good night.